In the shadows of Silicon Valley, a company was born with money from the CIA. Its name comes from Tolkien's Seeing Stone, an object of power that spies, deceives, and corrupts. Palantir doesn't sell products, it sells control over governments, banks, and even wars. From mass deportations to drone strikes, from Gaza to Wall Street, its algorithms touch every corner of life. The question is no longer what Palantir knows, but whether it already owns the future itself. Chapter 1, Born in the Shadows. It's the early 2000s. The world is still reeling from the shock of September 11th. The Twin Towers have fallen, and governments are desperate to make sure it never happens again. Intelligence agencies comb through oceans of data, phone calls, bank transfers, emails, flight records, but they can't keep up. Buried somewhere inside the noise, the next terror plot might already be forming. The CIA needs a new kind of weapon. Not missiles, not tanks, but code. Software that can see everything, connect the dots, predict what happens before it happens. And in Silicon Valley, one man sees an opportunity. Peter Thiel, billionaire, co-founder of PayPal, a man with a reputation for being both a visionary and something darker. Thiel believes democracies are weak, that freedom is fragile, that only surveillance and control can protect the future. He has an idea: build a company that becomes the nervous system of the surveillance state, a company that governments can rely on, but one that stays outside government's reach. But how do you launch such a company? That's where the shadows come in. In QTEL, the CIA's own venture capital arm quietly steps in. It's not just money, it's a signal. The intelligence community is betting on this little startup with a strange name, Palantir. Why would the CIA funnel seed money into a private company unless it was meant to do what even they couldn't legally do? The answer may lie in the name itself. In Tolkien's Lord of the Rings, a Palantir is a seeing stone, a crystal orb that allows its holder to watch distant lands, spy on enemies, and even peer into the future. But the stones come with a curse. They corrupt the user. They seduce, they mislead, and in the end, they control. Was this just a geeky fantasy reference? Or was it a warning? A confession hidden in plain sight? Imagine naming your surveillance company after a device that spies on everyone and then corrupts its master. From the very beginning, Palantir wasn't like other startups. There was no scrappy garage story, no romantic tale of college kids changing the world with an app. This was different. It was born inside the halls of intelligence, birthed not by dreamers but by spy masters. The company's mission sounded noble enough: prevent terrorism, stop fraud, catch criminals. But behind the PR lines, people whispered, Palantir is the CIA's private contractor, the company that can do the dirty work government can't be caught doing itself. Some even claim the software was designed to bypass legal restrictions, to let intelligence agencies spy on their own citizens while maintaining plausible deniability. And Peter Thiel? He wasn't just an investor, he was the architect. He believed in building systems of control. He once said that competition was for losers, that real power comes from monopoly. Was Palantir meant to be his monopoly on truth itself? As the money flowed and engineers began to code, one question lingered in the air. Was Palantir created to protect us or to watch us? And if the company's very name hinted at corruption, how long before the stone began corrupting us all? Chapter 2, The All-Seeing Machine. It looks ordinary at first. Just another office, just another computer screen, rows of engineers staring into glowing monitors, typing lines of code. But what they're building isn't ordinary software. It's a machine that can see almost everything. Palantir's software doesn't just process data, it devours it. Bank records, airline tickets, text messages, social media posts, insurance claims, medical files, even DNA. Each piece is just a dot, harmless on its own. But when Palantir connects them together, a terrifying picture begins to emerge. To police departments, Palantir is a miracle. A burglary today, a drug bust tomorrow, a protest scheduled for the weekend. The system connects the names, the addresses, the phone numbers, the cars. Suddenly, suspects appear before investigators even know what crime has been committed. That's the official story, stopping crime before it happens, like a real-world version of Minority Report. But the question nags in the background. If Palantir can predict crime, what else can it predict? Could it forecast protests before they erupt? Could it guess election results, even influence them? Could it know your next move before you make it? Because this isn't just about criminals. Every click, every like, every late-night search feeds the system, and rumors swirl that once your data enters Palantir's web, it never leaves. Critics warn that the software doesn't stop at catching thieves or terrorists. It can map entire populations. It can show who you talk to, where you go, what you believe. One analyst described it bluntly. Give Palantir access to your life, and it can know you better than your own family. But the deeper fear lies in what Palantir doesn't say. Insiders whisper about contracts with intelligence agencies, about secret tools that allow real-time tracking of individuals anywhere on the globe, a phone call in Paris, a bank transfer in New York, a tweet in Jakarta, stitched together instantly into a moving target. Could Palantir already follow anyone, anywhere, at any time? The company insists it's just a tool, that it only reveals what's already there. But imagine the implications. If Palantir can watch an entire city in real time, then no one is truly invisible. Not criminals, not protesters, not you. So who is Palantir really watching? Some say terrorists, others say activists, whistleblowers, journalists, even political opponents. In the wrong hands, Palantir becomes more than surveillance. It becomes control. And then there are the conspiracy theories. The whispers too wild to confirm, too unsettling to ignore, that Palantir is quietly linked to global banks, feeding its algorithms with financial markets, that it predicts not just crimes but economic collapses, that it can simulate entire countries and tell governments how to shape their populations like pieces on a chessboard. Officially, Palantir sells insight, but in reality, it offers something far more dangerous: foresight. Because if a company can know the future, even just a fraction of it, what's to stop them from deciding what that future will be? The engineers keep typing, the machines keep learning, and the databases keep growing. Line by line, Palantir's all-seeing machine is being built. The question is no longer whether it works, the question is whether it will ever stop. Chapter 3: Deportations, Drones, and Death Lists. A cold morning in Arizona, immigration officers gather before dawn. Each holds a list: names, addresses, family members. But these aren't random raids. The lists come from a machine. That machine is Palantir. For years, the company quietly provided technology to ICE, Immigration and Customs Enforcement. On paper, the goal was simple: track undocumented migrants, identify criminals, keep the border secure. But in practice, Palantir's software became the backbone of mass deportations. Officers weren't just guessing anymore. They had precise addresses, phone records, relatives, even workplaces. Families woke to doors kicked in, parents torn from children, all guided by the hidden hand of a Silicon Valley algorithm. Civil rights groups called it digital hunting. Critics claim Palantir had turned migration into a data-driven dragnet. But this was only one battlefield. Thousands of miles away, in Afghanistan and Iraq, Palantir was at work again. The U.S. military used its systems to track insurgents. Every phone call, every roadside encounter, every financial transfer fed into Palantir's databases. The software connected the dots, built networks of association, and spat out names. Those names often became targets. A drone pilot in Nevada, staring at a screen, might receive a flagged identity from Palantir. Somewhere on the other side of the world, a missile would strike. Houses collapsed. Cars turned into fireballs. A name disappeared, which leads to a disturbing question. Did Palantir's algorithms decide who lived and who died? The company insists it only provided tools, that humans made the final decisions. But insiders whisper otherwise, that sometimes the software's confidence score was enough to seal a fate, that soldiers trusted the machine more than their own eyes. Imagine your life reduced to a string of digital breadcrumbs. A phone call here, a money transfer there, a late-night message to the wrong friend. Could that alone put you on a kill list? What if your digital footprint lands you in the crosshairs without you ever knowing why? In war zones, mistakes happen. A cousin's phone number, a shared taxi, a neighbor with the wrong last name. Yet when the system points, people vanish. Entire families, entire neighborhoods erased by drone fire. And back home, the technology doesn't rest. Police departments use modified versions of the same tools. Predictive policing, gang databases, suspicious activity reports. The line between foreign battlefields and American streets grows thinner by the day. Palantir thrives in that gray zone. Its executives boast that they're saving lives, stopping terror, making the world safer. But critics see something else. An invisible tribunal where guilt is determined not in a courtroom, but in a database. No jury, no judge, just code. And perhaps the most chilling thought of all, if a name appears on one of those lists, there may never be a way to get off. The ICE raids at dawn, the drone strikes at dusk. From the barrios of Arizona to the villages of Afghanistan, the result is the same. Palantir's machine keeps churning. The lists keep coming. The only question is, whose name will appear next? Chapter 4, Gaza, the algorithmic war. Night falls over Gaza. The hum of drones fills the sky. Families huddle in dark apartments, praying the noise passes over them. But somewhere far away, in an office lit by screens, decisions are being made. Not by generals, not even by soldiers, by algorithms. In recent years, reports have surfaced. Israel's military operations are no longer just guided by intelligence officers. They're powered by advanced software. Among the names whispered, one stands out: Palantir. Palantir insists its tools save lives, that they identify terrorists hiding among civilians. But activists, journalists, and insiders fear something far darker: that Palantir's artificial intelligence may be scanning Gaza's dense neighborhoods, flagging targets in real time, homes, schools, even hospitals. Could it be the software, not the soldier, deciding which building will be reduced to rubble? It's not impossible. Palantir's strength lies in connecting massive flows of data: phone records, social media posts, surveillance footage, satellite imagery. Feed the machine enough information, and it produces a list of names, of locations, of potential threats. But what happens when a wrong data point slips in? A neighbor's Wi-Fi signal, a shared cell phone tower, a casual contact online. To an algorithm, that might be enough. And once flagged, a house is marked, a missile follows, families vanish, entire streets crumble, and no one knows who drew the invisible line between civilian and target. That raises the haunting question: if an algorithm is waging war, who is guilty of the civilian deaths? The pilot who presses the button? The commander who approves the strike? Or the engineers in Silicon Valley who built the software in the first place? Some believe Gaza has become a testing ground, that Palantir's systems are being refined in live combat, perfected in real blood. A brutal laboratory where every strike trains the algorithm to be deadlier, faster, more efficient. The company denies responsibility. It says it only provides tools, not decisions. But the line blurs. In modern warfare, data is as powerful as bullets. If Palantir points, does anyone dare to question the machine? Witnesses describe bombings that seemed indiscriminate, as if entire neighborhoods had been marked wholesale. Were they? Could a line of code somewhere in Palo Alto have sealed their fate? And then comes the most chilling rumor of all: that Palantir's system doesn't just analyze Gaza, it predicts it. That the software can forecast unrest, anticipate resistance, even model the likely aftermath of destruction. A digital oracle guiding the hands of generals. If that's true, Gaza isn't just a battlefield, it's a simulation, a place where human lives are reduced to data points in an endless experiment. For those on the ground, the results are all too real. Collapsed buildings, shattered families, a generation growing up under the constant whine of drones. Yet the true decisions may be happening thousands of miles away, on screens glowing with maps and probabilities. The war no longer belongs to humans alone. It belongs to the machine. And if Gaza is the beginning, where does it end? Chapter 5. The Billionaire Vampires. It's late at night. Behind the walls of a glass mansion, Peter Thiel sits in silence. Billionaire investor, co-founder of PayPal, early backer of Facebook, founder of Palantir, a man with influence stretching from Washington to Wall Street. But Thiel's mind isn't on money tonight. It's on time. Thiel has spoken openly about his obsession with life extension, about defeating aging, about living forever. Rumors swirl that he funds cutting-edge biotech labs, cryonics experiments, even radical therapies whispered about only in hushed circles. The most shocking? That he receives blood transfusions from young donors. Parabiosis, as scientists call it. Old blood swapped for young. A modern vampire's dream. True or not, the idea lingers. If billionaires are searching for immortality, what role does Palantir play in their quest? Because Palantir doesn't just deal in phone records or social media feeds. It holds contracts with governments, hedge funds, pharmaceutical companies. Its algorithms analyze not only crimes and markets, but health records, genetic databases, hospital data. So the disturbing question emerges, is Palantir not just collecting your data, but your biology too? Think about it. Every DNA test, every hospital visit, every prescription filled. In the hands of Palantir, it all becomes part of one vast pattern. Who gets sick? Who survives? Who ages well? Who doesn't? To Wall Street, this is priceless. Imagine predicting which drug will cure cancer, which treatment will fail, which biotech stock will skyrocket before anyone else knows. Palantir could make hedge funds billions, but for men like Thiel, the temptation may run deeper. What if Palantir isn't just predicting health, but rewriting it? What if the company is feeding data into life extension projects, guiding billionaires toward the fountain of youth while the rest of the world remains in the dark? Conspiracy theorists whisper that Palantir's true mission is bigger than national security, that it's building an immortality machine for the elite, a system that maps humanity at the genetic level, searching for the secrets of eternal life. And if that's true, where does the data come from? From us. Ordinary people, our hospital records, our genetic tests, our digital footprints. Every click, every breath, every heartbeat uploaded into the cloud, feeding the machine. Could this be the ultimate plan? To build immortality for billionaires, powered by the lives of ordinary people? The image is chilling. Billionaires, sustained by algorithms, young blood, and data harvested from millions who will never see the benefits. Modern vampires feeding not on necks, but on information. Of course, Palantir denies it. They claim they're a defense contractor, a data analytics firm. Nothing more. But the rumors won't die, and every time a new biotech contract is signed, every time Palantir's name appears in the health sector, the whispers grow louder. Because in the end, the question isn't just whether Peter Thiel wants to live forever, it's whether he's building the machinery to make it possible. And if he is, whose blood, whose data, whose life will pay the price? Chapter 6, the Private NSA. It's the kind of company you rarely notice. No flashy ads, no consumer products on store shelves. Yet Palantir's fingerprints are everywhere. In the Pentagon, in police departments, in the offices of hedge funds and banks, in health systems, border patrols, and intelligence agencies across the globe. The NSA may be infamous for knowing almost everything about you, but Palantir goes further. Because the NSA is bound by laws, by oversight committees, by at least some accountability. Palantir isn't. It's private. It doesn't answer to voters. It doesn't care about constitutions. It sells to whoever pays. So ask yourself this. If the NSA already knows nearly everything about you, what happens when a private company knows even more and sells it to the highest bidder? Palantir thrives in that shadow market. Governments buy its services. Corporations do too. In some countries, Palantir isn't just a contractor, it is the intelligence service, feeding data to military commanders, flagging threats for police chiefs, advising bankers where to invest and when. And here's the terrifying part. When a company holds that much data, it doesn't just analyze the world, it can shape it. Elections, economies, even wars. What if Palantir already has the ability to tilt the scales of society invisibly from the shadows? Imagine this. A protest movement starts to form. Palantir's system sees the networks online, tracks the leaders, predicts when the crowds will gather. Authorities act before the first sign hits the street. The protest dies before it begins. Or picture an election. Palantir's algorithms map not just voting patterns, but emotions. They can see which districts are restless, which communities are angry, which stories will sway them. Feed that insight into political campaigns, and democracy itself bends to whoever can afford the data. And then there's war. Wars used to be fought with tanks and bombs. Now they can be shaped with information. Palantir's technology can simulate outcomes, predict unrest, even advise commanders on which strikes will collapse an enemy faster. But if a company has that power, who ensures it isn't also choosing sides? The nightmare is simple. What if we only realize Palantir has been controlling societies when it's already too late? Because here's the truth. Power doesn't always look like soldiers in the street. Sometimes it looks like lines of code in a locked server room. Quiet, invisible, unquestioned. Palantir insists it's just a tool. But tools can become weapons, and weapons can become masters. The company began with the promise of fighting terror. Today, it has spread into nearly every corner of global life. Finance, medicine, war, law enforcement, politics. If data is the new oil, then Palantir isn't just drilling it, it's refining it, distributing it, controlling it. And just like oil, whoever controls it controls the world. So the final question isn't whether Palantir is evil, it's something much darker. What if Palantir already rules the world, and we just haven't noticed yet?